in today's NFL, the only dinosaur in terms of style, the statue, the guy who can't move at all, who's not from a previous generation, so guys have retired, but not Tom Brady or Matt Ryan or someone like that, is Mac Jones, is the guy who's playing for Belichick, is the guy Belichick drafted. It fell to 15 to him in the draft, right? Nick Saban's guy, the whole thing. It strikes me that Belichick had all this success in a previous era of football with a certain kind of quarterback, and he now has that same style, though not nearly at the same level, in a league where you can't do it anymore. Certainly not without a guy who's lights out, and that is not Mac Jones. That's Belichick, the GM, and Belichick, the coach, all rolled up into one, Chris.
Well, we didn't know whether or not Mac Jones is capable of developing into that guy, and that's why I didn't think that it was the right idea for the Patriots to go with the experiment of Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as these co-offensive coordinators. That absolutely made no sense for a coach who forged his identity and his resume on the defensive side of the ball. You're going to let him be a first-time offensive play caller and coordinator in year 2 of your quarterback? That just didn't make any sense. So I don't think it's out of pocket for Mac Jones to seek counsel outside of the organization and try to learn as much as he can, because it's clear, based on what was happening in the building and in the quarterback room, that he wasn't getting what he needed. The guy regressed from year 1 to year 2. That is a problem. Mac Jones was 28th in QBR, 14 touchdown passes to 11 interceptions. So forget about the skill position core being bereft of talent, not having any weapons on the edges. Forget about the offensive line concerns. Just focus in on what they're doing as an organization in terms of the infrastructure to develop the quarterback. And it's clear that it was lacking. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have moved on and hired Bill O'Brien this offseason. So Belichick, in effect, told you he made a mistake by hiring Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator. And yet you're going to feel some kind of way about your second-year quarterback trying to find other ways to get better if what Matt Patricia, the first-time offensive coordinator, is teaching him doesn't make sense to him. That's the part of this that I have a problem with Bill Belichick's authoritarian style, because it doesn't lend itself to being able to ask questions or to question how he's doing things. And, Max, I'm a big believer in this. If what you're teaching and what you're doing is fundamentally sound, then it should be able to hold up to a line of questioning that your players have. And it's clear that what Belichick was doing on the offensive side of the ball with the scheme and how they were trying to teach it to Mac Jones doesn't hold up.
All right, this is very interesting to me, and I want to let's dive into this. I think we can go deeper on it even.
Okay.
So his authoritarian style, you believe if you have fundamentally sound ideas, it could stand up to rigorous questioning.
No doubt.
Because it'll be consistent. You have nothing to hide, right?
Exactly.
But authoritarian, this is the issue with the corrupting nature of power. It's the reason you need checks on power. Because power itself is a corrupting influence, right? Like this is what the Lord of the Rings movies are about. A lot of popular culture even understands.
Yeah, what's the adage? Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Right. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So Bill Belichick has too much power in New England. And how does that manifest itself? We are on this just in. Hit show, 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN. Handsome host. And I'm there between Damian Woody and Mike Tannenbaum. Mike T is a Belichick guy, Parcells Belichick guy, and Damian Woody played for Belichick. And they're going on and on about how Belichick, like how long is Belichick's leash in New England with Robert Kraft? He has a lifetime. You can never get rid of Belichick. Timeout. Belichick is the type of dude to be like, don't tell me what you have done. Tell me what you're about to do. What can you do now? Why is it okay in the NFL you treat players like, they can't do it anymore? Bye. Yeah, but he's a big star. Bye. Like, we're not paying you on what you've done. What are you about to do? Why is not the same thing for the coach or the GM or anyone? The only reason it would be different is because Belichick's got too much power.
Well, it's not different, Max. And if you listen to Tom Curran last week during the owners' meetings, he said as much. He described the relationship between Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick as icy. I mean, Robert Kraft stopped short in his commentary in response to what Belichick was telling fans about having confidence moving forward based on the last 20 or so years. Robert Kraft did not meet those comments very well. Like he felt the way about that clearly, and he let his agenda be known that they need to be about the business of winning, because having a 25-26 record when you include the playoff loss over the last 3 years just ain't good enough based on the standard that they've established over the last two decades. So don't sit here and talk to me about players trying to rest on their laurels when the head coach is using his laurels as a defense for what's happened in the recent past.
I'm going to give him one out. Ready? Here's my one out
What's
for
the
Belichick.
Out? What's the out?
Here's the out. So Mac Jones ain't it, right?
Okay.
You think Mac Jones is it?
I don't know,
You're going to win a Super Bowl with Mac Jones?
I don't know.
What would you guess?
Probably not when
Me
you
too.
consider the quarterbacks in that division.
Me too. I say I agree. We're on the same page there.
Okay.
There's a quarterback available right now. The Pats have are among the teams with the most cap room, over $20 million. There's a quarterback available right now who I would say has more influence over the outcome of any one game, arguably, than anyone who ever lived, but certainly among the top ever, which is Lamar Jackson, because I've seen him with a fourth quarter lead in every single game he played this year. Any team that has a quarterback who's not a slam dunk, this dude's going to be elite quarterback.
Yeah.
If Hendon Hooker is sitting there, what's the his age? Stop. It just doesn't mean he will have a very, like, a 15-year, 18-year, it might be a 10 or a 12-year career. But if not for the injury, which is not career-altering necessarily, to me, he's the guy with the fewest weaknesses. He's the guy I would say I would want to start right away. Yeah,
Hendon Hooker's going to be the fifth quarterback off the board, and he's probably going to go somewhere in the latter part of the first round. I have no doubts about that. But to Mike T's point about the Jets taking him at 13, let me tell you what they're not going to do. Take him at 13. You know why? Because you can't be half pregnant. They're about to give up multiple premium picks and pay a guy $60 million for a one-year proposition. You know what the Jets are thinking? We going for it. And we're going to use that first-round pick to bolster our roster to give Aaron Rodgers and this 2023 team the best chance that they can to compete for a championship. It doesn't make any sense to try to hedge for the future when you're going after Aaron Rodgers, a guy that, by the way, wants to get out of Green Bay because that organization did the exact same thing. They hedged for the future with Jordan Love rather than getting Aaron Rodgers some more weapons that could help him in the twilight of his career. So what Mike Tannenbaum is saying is asinine, it's ridiculous, and it shouldn't be a consideration at all.
Your logic is sound, but I disagree with your conclusion.
Okay.
Because I would say that's all right, yes, unless if you feel a special talent is available at a premium position, then to me, I'm not drafting for need anymore.
Okay.
To me, there's too much value. To me, Hendon Hooker fits that bill. You think about what the Panthers did. They packaged all this up and moved up to number 1 in the draft, and people are pretending like they don't know who they want to draft. If that's the case, I'm firing everybody. Like, if you do all that, that better be because that dude, unless you really think there are 3 Hall of Famers at quarterback in this draft, right? If Hendon Hooker doesn't get hurt, to me, that's Hendon Hooker. Like Bryce Young is too little. I really like CJ Stroud, but I don't know what his upside is.
Oh, you know what the upside is. You saw it in the playoff game.
You think Stroud's upside is top 5 quarterback in the league?
Most of the guys that played on that Georgia defense are going to be playing on Sunday. You saw him against NFL players.
So you think Stroud is going to be there with Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence and all those guys?
I think Stroud has
Justin Herbert.
I think Stroud has a chance to be. It all depends on who's going to be down there developing it.
Better chance than Hooker?
And based on, think about the staff that Carolina has assembled between Josh McCown, Frank Reich, and Jim Caldwell. I feel pretty damn good that they're going to be able to get the most out of whoever they draft at number 1. If that happens to be C.J. Stroud, so be it. But, yeah, I feel good about what C.J. Stroud is bringing to the party based on what I've seen in a couple of his college games.
So Damian Woody and Ryan Clark agreed with Mike Tannenbaum and me.
Okay.
Greeny, let's just say, didn't seem to. Here's Mike Greenberg, ESPN radio host, of course. Greeny follows this show. And Get Up. Listen to this.
You're going to have Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. What could go wrong? Oh, yeah, everything. This is the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. Are you out of your mind? Tannenbaum, I want this man expelled, not only from this conversation, but from all football conversations that are ever to come. Aaron Rodgers is going to lose his mind if the Jets draft Hendon Hooker, and you are in for this. You've made your bed. Sleep in it.
Aaron Rodgers is the essence of easily aggrieved.
Oh, I can't even sit like this. You want the Jets to take a quarterback in the first round now? We're just finally going to get Rodgers. You're going to piss him off before the whole thing even starts? D. Wood, you're the biggest person. He's going to be mad. He's going to be frustrated. This is a disaster. I'm going to fight Damian Woody now. There's going to be a fight.
With one arm.
I mean, the last time they...
That ain't going to be a long fight, by the way.
That
ain't going to be a long fight between Greenberg
The
and
last
Woody.
time they pissed off Aaron Rodgers, he won back-to-back MVPs. Maybe that's okay. And secondly, let's say he is so in such a way that you don't win the Super Bowl, but you have a loaded team, and then you have actually in his prime, because Hooker's old for that's one of the reasons he would.
Yeah.
Then you have a guy. You're not reliant on the whims of Aaron Rodgers in the offseason when, let's face it, Chris, no matter how good they are, they probably don't win the Super Bowl because it's hard to do. Let's say they get to an AFC championship game and they lose, and then he decides, I don't know what I'm going to do. Trade me to whoever. You got a guy.
Well, you say it's hard to do, Max, but we just saw 2 of the last 3 Super Bowl winners have their quarterback parachute in that offseason. In the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay
Buccaneers. To a ready-made team.
Yeah. I think that's what the Jets have their eyes toward. And if you're going to pay a guy $60 million and not know if he's going to be your quarterback beyond that season, what you're telling me is that you're going for it. But here, listen, you don't even have to take my analysis of it. Just think about what Woody Johnson said at the owners' meeting. As ridiculous as it sounds, Woody Johnson says, I have no patience. We're trying to win right now. Now, he's shown a lot of patience because they got the longest playoff drought of any team sport in North America.
Woody Johnson just cut the legs off of Joe Douglas trying to do his job, right?
Exactly.
Good job, Woody.
Look, we're trying to win this thing. We're going after Aaron Rodgers, and you know all of the things that come with Aaron Rodgers. So I think this is a situation where they're focused on using that 13th pick on a player that can help them this year.
Oh, yeah.
Not a player that they're going to redshirt and Hendon Hooker.
In reality, they ain't drafting no Hendon Hooker.
Hell no,
I'm just saying, if I ran the zoo, said young Gerald
But
McGrew.
you got to decide what you want to do, Max. Do you want to win now, or do you want to have a window of sustained success?
I want both.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.